interesting evening. I am coming to you live from the studio. This is an unusual, unedited, no holds barred type of event, so feel free to chat away in here. No chaos, just a lot of clarity. Um, as you can see up there, there's no current tornado warnings, there's no severe thunderstorm warnings, there's no active weather watches. The only thing that we really have at this point is, unfortunately, in upstate New York, we do have the flood watch, as there's continued rain bands that have softened the ground quite a bit. I appreciate all you welcome my Facebook followers as well as my YouTube followers and my TikTok followers. Appreciate you all here. We're going to kind of have a very off the cuff talk. Thank you, NTX Weather, for joining. I appreciate it so much. So we're just going to, whatever you guys want to talk about, just again, really, I don't want to say no boundaries, but whatever you guys want to talk about, and then we're going to kind of talk about next week's fiasco. I call it a fiasco because there's a lot of, I got to bring a lot of clarity to this because there's a lot of people that are saying it's going to be super big up in areas of South Dakota, and I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little tough for things to get that crazy up here, but I kind of hope so just from a chaser's standpoint for the data. But and less that I have to travel, um, the better, just for the sheer fact that I got a full-time job. Thanks so much for the coins. All right, so Grant Fella Gain OFC Love. That's all I can see here. Mark Fuentes 8. Thank you so much. Rob Conrad, thank you. Lee and Flo, Milwaukee next week. Hey, hey, NTX, thank you so much. Let's see. Milwaukee next week. We'll take a look at that. Whatever your guys' questions are today, we'll get to as many as we can. There's not any real uh, agenda necessarily. It's just going to be kind of like community involvement and community weather community engagement here. Whatever you guys really want to talk about with respect as much as I possibly can. NTX, thank you very much for sharing the live. So we're going to talk about next week's weather. We're going to show you the NAM 12K right here. This is the composite reflective. It's only going to go out a little ways, so we'll have to unfortunately rely on our wonderful GFS model. So what I'm going to kind of show you before I go into the composite is I'm going to go ahead and show you the 500 millibar wind. We're going to be able to kind of see um, where this trough ejects out of the southwest a little bit and tries to make its way over to areas of like Nebraska and Kansas and Oklahoma. And I'll kind of point those out as best as I can for some of those that are fairly new. I appreciate, hey, Merriweather, thank you. Gary Hanneman, thank you. Heather, thanks for joining. All right, so what you're going to see here, and if any of you have watched my lives, daily lives at 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time, you can tell that I kind of go over the same thing with this. This is right here. That is kind of the dominating high pressure and just a dome of heat, if you will, uh, making it very difficult for these storms to fire. Uh, that we've been locked under for and will continue to be for a little bit. All right, so what we're going to kind of show you right now is the 14th. As we go through there, and these times are in Central Daylight Time, you actually can't see the time, so no big deal, just for the sheer fact that I'll kind of read those out as best as I can. Jacksonville, Florida, we're not expecting anything huge for Jacksonville. I'll quick get that taken care of here. It's tomorrow. Yes, general thunderstorms tonight. Jacksonville is at a marginal risk tomorrow, and ever so slight of marginal risk here for day 3, which would end up being your Sunday. So we'll kind of talk about that if you can stick around for a little bit, Abby Walker's 8. I appreciate it. All right, so let me go back to the scene here. Anyhow, the 14th is what I was kind of talking about. So right here, we're kind of seeing a little bit of a trough, and it's really blended in here. And it's not a negatively tilted trough. It's nothing too fancy. But then it tries to do some spin up here just a little bit. Let me draw that here for you. Just a little bit, ever so slight. GFS is having a really tough time showing that. So you can kind of see this ejecting a little bit and pushing towards the Sioux Falls area. And then even down here into Topeka, this is where I really think next week is going to get pretty significant. And then that'll push off to the east northeast type of direction. So Chicago, Illinois, Ohio, Columbus, all those areas. Definitely thank you, Grant, for sharing the live. Appreciate it. And thanks for the follow, Bonnie. Appreciate that. Is Memphis, Tennessee okay tonight? Yes, Walk Stars, Memphis, Tennessee is okay tonight. We're just kind of doing a no holds barred type of talk here about next week's crazy weather setup that might be happening here. As we go to the 15th, that's really when things I expect to really ramp up into, again, this area right here. Um, Lots of moisture is expected. Speaking of moisture, let's go ahead and take a look at those dew points based on GFS. This is just one model, so just be mindful of that. There are a number of models, and some of them are long range, like the GFS and the Euro, and then some of them more medium range, like the NAM Nest, the uh, the NAM 12K, that type of thing. And then short range models like HRRR, NAM 3K, those are shorter range. Pueblo, Colorado, not expecting anything anytime soon. Pueblo, Colorado, you're actually having some general thunderstorms late tonight, and then possibility of general thunderstorms for the next few days. But again, next week things could get a little rocky, and we'll kind of not a lot of models are showing all of that information. I just kind of wanted to come on here. So thank you very much, Anthony, for your question. I appreciate it. So back to the dew points. As some of you may know, when you start to see those dew points, hey, Tim Betts, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it. How is Kansas looking? Kansas, yeah, I'm expecting Kansas to get pretty crazy for next week. So let me kind of show again timing right here, folks. You see that difference right here? And then let me, so that's what I'm kind of expecting to have happen on the 14th, 15th time frame. If I was going to be chasing, I would want to be down in these areas right here for like the 14th and the 15th. That would be perfect um, for a storm chaser, anyways. Um, and then there is indications right here that this could be a little bit of a blend of a lot of moisture still coming up here. We got dew points in the 60s on the Sioux Falls, South Dakota side, and then over by Pierre, 50s for dew points, maybe some 40s in there. Let me take a look here. Yeah. So the reason why I don't think it's going to be nearly significant in South Dakota, and this is just my opinion. Um, Sofa King, smart, you're good. Oh, thank you so much, NTX, for telling them that. Appreciate it. All right, so what we're expecting to have happen would be right in these areas here. Probably a marginal risk in these areas. And then for the 15th, as we get into the afternoon hours and that trough expands over there, Rochester, Minnesota area could possibly end up being in a slight risk. This is my predictions. This isn't anything that I have knowledge from the Storm Prediction Center. Again, this is just my advice and what I am anticipating to have happen. This probably in along this area here on the 15th will likely end up having an enhanced risk somewhere in the Missouri and the Kansas area, maybe even down into areas of Oklahoma. Again, this is just my opinion, and that would be for the 15th because it's going to be hitting some of the magic hour time, sometime 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. would be my expectation for that. But again, this is only one weather model, so just be mindful of that. The other thing that we can take a look at here real quick is total precip. Now, this is between now when this weather GFS model was updated. Let me just clarify that a little bit more. Now, not necessarily now. The time that the GFS was last updated, if I can get my radar Omega to work. Your knowledge 15th through 18th IMO. What is that? Or is that LMA? Is that supposed to be a laugh out loud? Not sure. I got to learn to look at the chat a little bit better. Anyhow, oh, yep. All right, so what we're expecting, 4 p.m., this was updated today, 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So what the amount of moisture that's expected, obviously, over in areas of like Jacksonville over the next few days. This actually ends up being just a couple of days, really, um, mainly from the 11th through the 12th and 13th there. Maybe, yeah, 12th around 10 a.m., you might end up with about 4 to 5 inches of rainfall in these areas. Jacksonville, even more. Look at that, 4.5. Some areas almost 6 inches of rain. So that would be from, again, 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time to 10 a.m. on May 12th. That would be what it is, possibility of. And then these areas in parts of Mississippi could end up with another 4 to 5 inches of rainfall. It's crazy. All right, thanks so much. Oh, Mother's Day. Yep. Yeah, Mother's Day is the 12th. I remember that day very much. Mother's Day was always a big day for us back in Dakotas. My dad and we started a greenhouse, built it from the ground up. We built it 60 foot in length. I can't remember how wide. I think it was like 30 by 60 or something. Uh, we were we came really close to selling all of our product to all of the Kmart stores. And, I was super young, so my dad had this ambition and entrepreneurship that he wanted to go ahead and make sure that we could, provide and give that wonderful vegetables and stuff to Kmart and really end up getting a lot of money and helping a lot of folks with that. And we were pretty inexpensive because we built everything from seed and from the ground up. Hey, hello, Gary Johnson from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Thank you. And Mary, thank you very much for the follow. So there's really not a whole lot of weather going on tonight. Yeah, NTX weather, you remember the Kmart? That tells you how old I am. Yeah, I'm approaching 50, so I definitely I got you there. I understand. So we're not really going over a whole lot. It's a very off-the-cuff type of broadcast here. There's not a whole lot of weather going on, and there won't be anything significant until next week. Um, let's go ahead and take a look at the European model and kind of show you what that run has for the 500 millibar wind. Kind of see if we can figure out that trough ejecting here. Go back to this view here. Again, there's no crazy weather going on. When is our area going to get some rain? I'm assuming you're talking about Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. That is likely nothing severe. I don't know about if I could say that, but it's going to be sometime mid to late next week in areas of Minnesota. Whether that's going to be severe, I don't know. Oh, thank you, NTX Weather, for the heart me's. I appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and show you what the European model is kind of expecting. As we go through the euro, you can see this large dip right here, and that's that area of low pressure, kind of ejected trough, trying to ramp up as it moves on over. How far north is it going to go? Yeah, it doesn't look that impressive in my opinion. It as far as South Dakota goes, it just meanders right around Lincoln areas, Omaha. Could have some real significant weather, maybe as far north as Des Moines, but um, it's going to be really tough, in my opinion, to get things ramped up. There's a second trough that kind of comes through on the 16th, and that one could end up giving us some significant weather, possibly for Sioux Falls area and Sioux City. I think the real big thing is going to be sometime later in the month. We'd have to go back to the GFS for that. Alicia, Watford City, North Dakota. It's in the west side of North Dakota. Oh, you're talking about the risks for today? Um, that was earlier today, but you guys aren't expecting anything real significant. Your marginal risks would be at best for day 3, which would be, oh, okay, upcoming, upcoming. All right, let me kind of show you some of those areas. I'll put on the composite reflective here so I can again, this is just one model, so just be mindful of that. Yeah, yeah, definitely above normal temperatures. We'll take a look at that. You guys got a lot of drought conditions, and actually, I'm going to bring up one other tool that I just found out about here. So one moment. See if I can bring this up here. See if I downloaded this new app. Just bear with me one moment. All right, I'm going to put this to work for me here. One second. See if I can find temperatures here. One second. All right, there we go. I'll get that pulled up here. One second. Might be able to get it there. See if that's going to work. Kind of goofy, but it'll work. Going to resize this. Here we go. So these are the temperatures outlined by the Climate Prediction Center. So definitely some warm air for sure. That's a 6 to 10 day outlook, and the 8 to 14, we finally see some of that cooler air for the 8 to 14. And then as far as precip goes, we'll take a look at the 8 to 14 right there in that area that I was expecting. A lot of moisture in the KCMO, Springfield, Fayetteville, Tulsa, Norman, Oklahoma. That's for the 8 to 14. And then the 6 to 10. Again, much of those same areas are slightly above normal. Now, Minnesota and the Watford City, let's see, Watford City, you're way up there. Watford City, you're going to be slightly above normal for your precip, but not real significant over the 6 to 10. 8 to 14 is kind of the same. Thank you, Gary Johnson, for the heart me's. I appreciate it. Thanks for the follows, everybody. If you're just joining us, be sure that you go ahead and follow. Let me get back to my Radar Omega stuff here, and I'll show you some more of this crazy stuff that's expected to happen here next week. All right. As we get, I'm going to skip right over the 12th here, 13th, and right into the 14th here. So a few little blips, Grand Forks area possibility sometime on the 14th, maybe Pier. This again is just GFS. Uh, Beneficial rain. I don't see anything that's suggesting um, that the Sioux Falls area would get any impactful, significant severe weather on the 14th. I think really there could possibly be a marginal risk that gets outlined in this area, may actually include Dickinson and Bismarck areas as well. Um, but it's a little hard to tell because I don't have any other information to support it. The Dakota Britain, Alabama. Thanks, Bella, for the follow. So Alabama, we're looking at weather models right now. So this isn't anything that's live. Um, this is just estimates. But I'll take a look at Alabama area. What's expected to have possibility of happening over the next couple of days. It looks like you're going to the southeastern portion of Alabama going to have some more rain. Don't expect anything other than maybe general thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Next week, late week, maybe into the weekend. So we're going a long ways out, over 10 days out. That ends up being a little tricky for Alabama or any of those areas. But as we get into like the 18th and the 19th, that's when you guys are really going to probably start seeing some more significant severe weather in areas of Mississippi and possibly pushing into areas of Alabama. So a little bit of time to maybe dry out a little bit or at least get less significant severe weather for those areas. Hope that helps there, Dakota Britain. Thanks for the follows, everybody. I appreciate that. And thanks for the gifts. I certainly appreciate that as well. We usually do a more formal live update, but today or tonight, I'm just doing a just something that's off the cuff and not anything real huge. Hang on one second here. All right. So let's see where my cousin lives in Centerton, Arkansas. Will they have any severe weather? Well, I can take a look at that. Kind of going through it pretty quick, but I don't see anything real. Yeah, take a look at the trough here. It'd be a little bit easier to figure that out. 2 points. Next week, stay weather aware, I would say, in Centerton, Arkansas. Seems like Dixie Alley and the deep south ends up getting pretty significant with all that moisture there. Let me take a look further into the week here. As we get farther than a week out, it gets really, really dicey. Going to progress this along. Doesn't really show any contrast. I mean, look at this different contrast between. I know dew points are just one ingredient, obviously. When you have this drier air right here, and then you have the 60 plus dew points, the cooler, drier air clashing with the warm, moist air, that's a classic sign of possibly having some storms right along this around the 13th, 14th time frame. But again, I still wonder how significant that severe weather is going to be up farther north. It'll definitely be interesting to see how that moves along. Again, more of that moist, muggy air. And then the 15th, around KCMO area, that would be overnight storms or would be possible. Again, we're a long ways out, so just stay weather aware. And then for areas of Arkansas, again, that would be later in the week, towards the weekend, next weekend, not this weekend. Thanks, Jim, for the follow. Anything in North Carolina today or no? No, we're not expecting anything in North Carolina. We're looking at the outlooks here. Today's day one outlook for tonight. Not anything significant. General thunderstorms in areas of the deep south and areas of some portions of Colorado and New Mexico there. Tomorrow, Montana has a marginal risk for severe weather as a trough comes ejecting out. And then that moves on over to the marginal risk to parts of North Dakota for day three. Day three would end up being Sunday. So I do want to kind of show that a little bit further here. Here's the North Dakota. You have desert humidity now in Minnesota. Yeah, we definitely need to bring some of that moisture back in. All right, let me see if I can go day three. I'm going to have to use NAM 12K. Let's see, that was updated at 8, so we can get a little bit of a better idea. Trying to look at North Dakota stuff here for one of the followers here. Yeah, it'd be late night storms if things can get going. We might be able to take a look at supercell composite surface-based cape. See how much energy is possible in there. Not seeing a whole lot of yellows. This only goes out to the 13th, so I can't bring it in, but the greens are pretty low energy. So I expect that it'll stay as a marginal risk. So the best on this west side here and northwest side for tomorrow, or I'm sorry, for Sunday, would likely be just 40 to 50-mile-an-hour gusts, maybe some penny-sized hail possible. Killeen, Texas. Oh, Future 3. When do you think Kansas City could see severe weather? I would say sometime Wednesday or Thursday next week. You definitely would want to stay weather aware on those dates. Killeen, Texas. You guys are expecting to have some severe weather probably next week, Wednesday or Thursday as well. Could get extended, depends on how this front moves. So you're going to dry out for most of the U.S. is going to dry out with that dominating high pressure and omega block pattern. But if that gets broke, which we're expecting it to break here next week, then yeah, all bets are off. Let me see if I can show you. One other thing here. All right, let me show you this. If I can, 1 second here, browser. I don't care what you guys see on my computer. That's all good. Not that. All right, there we go. All right, so this is kind of what I'm looking at. This is weather.gov. We're looking at the KIPS, CSU, and SPC hazard compare or probability comparison. Um, and when we look at this, oh, I got to open up a new window. Here we go. We're going to look at these different dates. Now, this is a experimental. Remember that, folks. Experimental. Analog-based severe probability guidance. This is opposite of. This isn't from the Storm Prediction Center. These are experimental analog models that they utilize. So comparing them to the SPC um, official. So Oklahoma area for, hang on one second. Oh, it was back. Sorry. This is a little bit backwards. So it goes, that's weird. Why does it have the dates previous? I don't like that. Hang on one second, folks. Day two, day three. That's what we need to get. I don't go through this very often, but day three, so this is showing that area of concern over areas of Georgia possibility, as well as Jacksonville, Florida for day three, or day four, I apologize, which would end up being Monday, if I got my rights. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, yeah. And then day five be Tuesday. So western part of Nebraska is what this has got for some significant weather, severe weather, and even areas of eastern Tennessee and western part of Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina there. So that would be by your Tuesday, possibility of some severe weather returning for those areas. How much and what? Unfortunately, the SPC doesn't have anything right now. Day four through eight, they've got nothing to support any of this at this point. But still, it is something that we're looking at. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at any other questions that we got here, folks. What is the current possibility of the National Weather Service being discontinued, or will it continue to be funded? I really hope that it will continue to be funded. Um, Personally, I was upset. I'm not going to get too political here, but personally, I was really upset when they reduced the amount of weather balloons in some of these areas that could go out. That is crucial information that's needed to get gathered. That's my opinion. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Uvalde, Texas, west of San Antonio. I'm so sad. I don't think we are getting anything but hot weather. Yeah, you guys are going to end up getting like triple digits. But there is some relief. Unfortunately, that comes with another risk of severe weather for midweek next week. So just be mindful of that. We got to be careful what we wish for, right? So these temperatures that we're expecting to have happen. Let me bring this back a little bit here. We're going to be able to see get spiked into the hundreds here somewhere. There we go. So the 12th. The NAM 12K shows like 90s, and then you add the humidity and dew points back into that. Let's take a look at those dew points. Not so bad right there, dew point. Actually, it looks like 12th is going to be a little bit of relief there, so that'll be good. Yeah, I don't want to be political either, Gary. All right, there's other sites to use and apps for it, luckily. What do you mean, other sites to use and apps for it? Oh, you're referring to like the National Weather Service stuff? And I'm sorry, I don't know what your tag is. All that's showing up. Oh, National Weather Service. Yes. Okay. Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look here and see what else we got here. Is there a good weather service that is not government funded? Yeah, like radar reading, I think it's good for people to get into if they're in constant risk areas. Yeah, I think radar reading would be a, a good idea to have some of those um, educational things available. I remember my youngest son, Nate, he and I went to the National Weather Service here in the Sioux Falls area, and we were able to take a tour. He was so stoked about that. He's weather enthusiast like myself, and but he brings it to a whole nother level, and he just loved it. They had a model of the largest hail that ever hit. Does anybody know the largest hailstone that ever hit South Dakota? Let me, I got to bring it up because I can't remember myself and I don't want to get misinformation. I know wasn't that far from me, but it was a few years back. Okay, here we go. So, do you chase Gary Johnson? Do you chase in Fergus Falls when weather forecasters predict storm formation here? Um, I don't typically end up going that far up north. The reason that I don't is I've got so many other irons in the fire. I've got a full-time job, parenting. I love parenting, don't get me wrong. Um, and I'm not entirely, everything that I do is completely funded on my own. I've got a few folks that help sponsor me a little bit, and then the little bit of money that I get here from TikTok and Facebook posts and things like that. But what is so let me finish Gary Johnson's question. So the Fergus Falls area, I would love to go to any of the areas. I would love to be a chaser all throughout, like a number of these other chasers, that have so much support, like Brandon Kopic, Vince Walty, uh, Storm Chaser. Can't remember. I think his first name is. He's a photographer. Brandon Montgomery. There's so many of them. Hi, Ashley Renz. Hi there. Yes, I have chased in South Dakota. Yes, I have done that. The areas of South Dakota that I've chased is up in near the Watertown area. I've even gone up as far as North Dakota. I've gone to Fargo area. Last year I went with my brother. That was an interesting one. He doesn't really like storms a whole lot. He's not as much of a weather enthusiast that I am. Oh, you're in Redfield. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, there certainly are some. I mean, anything north of that Highway 14. I always Highway 14 over by Huron area. Those guys just met. My first tornado I ever saw was and I wasn't even chasing it. I was just like, oh, it sounds like there's going to be some severe weather. So why don't I just press my luck and try to see? I don't even think I had any radars. No, I didn't have any radar apps on my phones or anything. This was a long time ago. And I just went like the old school way of looking in the sky, kind of seeing things. And then I ended up meeting up with some local news stations, weather guys. And crazy thing is that I ended up getting a pretty good conversation going with some of those. And one ended up being from a radio station, decided to go do some other stuff, now created the creator of um, Severe Studios. And so, yeah, you would like to chase storms, but not old enough? Well, I'll tell you what, 77 square body, here's what you need to do. I tell my son this all the time because he gets very upset. He gets to the point where he's like almost uncontrollable, hyperventilating. He loves storms so much and wants to go chase with me. And I, of course, as a overprotective father, always say, "Nope, can't come with me," and he gets really bummed. So what I usually tell him is, "I need you in the studio to kind of keep me alert." He knows he almost knows more than me. Some days there's some things that he certainly is learning off of YouTube, and let me clarify, reliable YouTubers that are veteran storm chasers, people like Reed, Timmer, and those guys. So, what's the weather for tonight in Illinois? Let me go ahead and pull that up here for you. Ashley, I'll do that. Depending on where you're at, right now it looks like central Illinois, Peoria, 55 degrees. I wish it was 55 here. What is it? I think it's still 60s. Huh, yeah, almost 70 degrees yet. Here it is 10 o'clock at night. Crazy. Um, yeah, 55 would be a nice temp. I could open up the window. You watch Mark Payton as well. I think my son watches Mark Payton. So the weather for I can actually let me see if I can bring up one of my old school weather things that I designed, and I can punch in what the weather is going to be like. One second. You wanted to know the weather for tonight, Ashley, in Illinois. Ashley, what's a specific area of Illinois? You don't have to say where you're at, just maybe a general, like a higher populated area, a city. If you could maybe tell me, and I'll give you an exact forecast. Appreciate y'all joining and the follows. If you haven't followed already, I do live weather updates typically in the morning. Am happy. Where is this? Where is what? It's the United States there, buddy. I don't know what he's asking. Or she. Might be a she. Okay, Lake County? All right, Lake County, Illinois. Let's see. Okay, so I'll kind of Waukegan. One second here. All right, so you guys are going to see exactly how I programmed something here in one second. So basically, what I did is I took this information here, typed it in here, and I can literally punch in, ooh, I want Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Boom. Changes there, and boom. That all is automatic. And then if I go back to Waukegan, Illinois. Oh, of course, now it's going to take a moment to load because I think I got too crazy. There we go. So, Waukegan, Illinois area. That's what you're looking at for, whoops, don't want to do that. Hello. So that's kind of what we're looking at as far as temperatures go. For tonight, 37. Oh my gosh, 37 I would love right now. And 44, you can kind of see the temperatures trending upwards for Illinois. So I hope that helps a little bit. We had some Canadian fire smoke here today. Goodness gracious. Should take a look at the fire stuff here. 1 second. Let's look at the weekly drought stuff here. I mean, it's crazy. Here's the drought that we got dealing with. Obviously, you can see the Ohio, Tennessee Valley in deep south. No lack of moisture there. But areas like even Nebraska, they are in an extreme drought right there. Western Nebraska, extreme drought. And way back here, oh, exceptional. It's kind of surprising to see that areas of San Antonio are in exceptional drought right now because I could have swore they just got this. Might be that this wasn't updated right recently. Not sure when the last update for that was. Yeah, the air quality, those alerts I'm sure are up here as well. Let's take a look. Fire. Let me shut this drought monitor off. Oh yeah, thanks so much for joining everybody. I appreciate it. So yeah, we got fire weather watch all the way up into areas of Grand Forks, and then you got red flag warning way over in areas of Dickinson, Williston, over into northeastern portion of Montana. It's going to be a dry one over the weekend. Many of these areas. So that rain is going to be nice. Unfortunately, we're going to be dealing with some crazy stormy weather. So I'm going to let you all go. I appreciate you guys all following. And yeah, I'm just going to come back. I won't be live tomorrow morning, but I will definitely be live on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. and we'll give a little rundown. We'll have a lot more weather models available. We'll have the NAM 3K that goes out a little bit farther. We'll also have the NAM 12K, of course, and those will allow us to have a better idea once more weather models come available, have a better idea of how next week's going to go. There's a lot of uncertainty, but nonetheless, appreciate it. Thanks, Gary Johnson. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Cody, Tony Balfetta, Enrique Montalvo, Hannah Banana, Michelle with one. And thank you, 77 Square Body. Wanted to thank as many people as I possibly can. I thank you very much for all your guys' input on this, and big shout out to NTX Weather. Is not on here anymore, but we'll have to see what ends up happening. So you guys have a great, hey, let me know sometime if you need a co-pilot. Nate, yeah, I just seen that on here. I didn't realize you were on here. I was looking at two different chats going on. Unfortunately, the chat that's in the screen, I'm not able to put in there. I can only, the one that you're seeing on the screen right now is TikTok stuff. So I will definitely let you know if I need a co-pilot. I'm hoping that next week, Wednesday, I've got Wednesday and Thursday blocked off. And hopefully I'll end up Oh, fishing opener in Minnesota. That will be nice. Thanks, Gary. Jose Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining. Hi to you as well. Um, yeah, thanks, Nate. Yeah, I have been taking off on TikTok quite a bit, and it's been really interesting. I have in a short 30-day period, I have nearly double what I have for followers on Facebook, and I've been on Facebook since at least the 605 Chaser brand has been since 2019. So that's crazy. So, all right, I am going to let you all go. God bless. I will be back tomorrow. And Nate Zecker from on great friend of mine from Facebook. I will definitely let you know if I need a co-pilot. You guys all have a great day. What you been up to today, Jose Rodriguez? I have been just chilling and relaxing. You came a little late to the show, Jose, but I'm glad that you're in here. Unfortunately, I do have to let you go. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Or, sorry, I'm so used to saying tomorrow morning. But tomorrow I am off from the live. I will be back on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you, Gary, for the heart snap. You guys have a great rest of your night. This is my final sign off. I'll be back on Sunday at 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time with more updates regarding next week's crazy weather that's expected. Again, in my opinion, this area right here, it'll probably kick off sometime Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. We'll have to deal with a little bit of capping farther north, but if that cap can break, then we could end up having some significant weather for Sioux Falls area as well by Wednesday.